Hey guys, I'm Platinum Producer LMC and welcome to part 2 of the Unison Beatmaking Secrets preview series. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys the 5 key steps to becoming a successful beatmaker. So in the last video, I shared with you my thought process behind some of the placements I've gotten, some struggles that I have, and how I started off making music. I was able to come up with these 5 keys to the years of experience that I've had in and out of the music industry. I was able to come up with these methods through a lot of mistakes, through a lot of hard lessons, and a lot of self-doubt and working on myself as well. I hope that these key steps will help you in your beatmaking career so you don't have to make the same mistakes as I did. So first off, my number 1 key being mindset. Now for me, mindset is everything. If I'm not mentally in tune and healthy, I won't be making good music. If I'm locked in a room for 12 hours a day making beats, trying to force out creativity, it's not gonna go well. At least for me anyway. Having a healthy mind is everything for me. So what I do is I make sure I actually have a life outside of music. I see and interact with people outside of the music industry. It's really easy to get caught up. It's cool to have people that do music, but it's also cool to have people outside of that realm. I'll talk to my friends about my problems within the music industry and they'll have a completely different outlook on it. It's really easy to box yourself into one group of people, but you really have to know that there is a life outside of music. Get creativity from other places, not just music. I also set up a healthy routine to make sure I'm doing well. So whether that's waking up in the morning, going for a walk, going for a run, hanging out with someone else that's not in the music industry, I make sure I set up healthy routine. I take breaks. I love music, but also it is good to get outside. I don't like to, be locked in the studio 24/7 because my creativity really does take a hit when I don't go outside. I don't take in the fresh air. I don't take inspiration from other things in life. So healthy routine is really important. So for me, I take Sundays off, or I at least try to take Sundays off, and I work Monday to Saturday on my music. 9 to 5, I have a break, I eat, I drink water, I try to eat healthy, keep my mind in check so my creativity flourishes. Number 2 key would be sound selection. Now for me, sound selection is huge. When I was a beginner and I was starting out, I used to think I had to have crazy sound selection. I had to have all the sounds, all the newest sounds. I had to have lots going on in the beat. But realistically, you listen to a lot of hit songs, there's only a couple of instruments. There's a kick, there's a hi-hat, there's a snare, and sometimes literally that's it with some piano playing in the background. So this is when your sound selection comes in clutch. So if you can master the art of simplicity, it will take you a long way. You hear a lot of Drake songs, there's just a couple of keys, a synth, a kick, and a snare, that's it, and they're massive hit records. I'm not making EDM music, I'm making hip hop. I try to keep it simple, I try to keep my sounds on point. The sounds I do use, I make sure they're intentional. When I say intentional, I mean the sound has its place. I'll make sure I pick a good snare, a good hi-hat, a good kick, and a good sub. And if all of those things are busting, they're all sounding good, they're sitting in the mix right, then I can't go wrong. If I got a nice set of keys, a really simplistic melody in the background, it really creates a good backdrop for the artist to do their thing. We need to give the artist room to breathe. We need to give the artist room to create the final product. So when you're making beats and you're selecting your sounds, really have the artist in mind too, because we're just the first step in the song creation. We're the canvas to the painting. And as a producer, I'm always trying to flex on my other producer friends and make crazy beats. The majority of listeners don't care how intricate the beat is, how crazy your hi-hat, how crazy your 808 patterns are. They just care if it sounds good. Don't go too crazy. Just make sure every sound you pick is intentional, it sounds good. You'll be able to create hit records in no time. Number 3 being arrangement. Now, arrangement is huge. In fact, it is almost like my number 1 thing at the moment. In this generation, our attention spans are shorter than ever, so we need to catch the listener's attention fast. Whether this is when we're sending loops to other producers, when we're sending beats to artists, or if we're creating full songs for listeners. The aim of the game for me as a producer at the moment is to catch the listener's ear ASAP. I want to catch their ear within the first 3 to 5 seconds. So a lot of the time, drum makers or other producers will be in the studio, they'll be scanning through hundreds of loops. You want to catch their attention fast. So what I do is I make sure all the interesting sounds are hitting first. When I send an artist a beat pack, I want them to use the first beat in the pack. So sometimes I start it with the drums so they're hitting first, or I start it with a really interesting sound that I can grab their ear with so they'll listen to the rest of the beat and in turn hopefully use it. Also, when I'm creating full songs with the artist, I have the average listener in mind. So the average listener will be scanning through Spotify playlists, they'll be scanning through Apple Music playlists looking to find their next favorite song. So when they're doing this, they're not listening to the first minute of a song, they're listening to the first maybe 5 to 15 seconds of the song. And if it catches their ear, then they're most likely going to listen to the rest of the song. So I make sure it hits quick, I make sure there's something interesting again at the beginning, maybe if it's the rapper or the vocalist doing some ad-libs, just catching the listener's ear and remembering that our attention spans are so short. So my number 4 key would be mixing and mastering. Now, it is very easy to spend hours and hours on our mixing and mastering process. A lot of the time when I spend hours on it, the mix and the master actually comes out worse just because my ear slowly deteriorates over time. I've only got about 30 minutes to really get a good mix in. And so the key to having a good mix and a good master is actually your sound selection. Now, if our sound selection is on point and we've chosen the right sounds to complement the melody or the loop, everything's complementing each other, then it'll make our mix and master so much easier. A lot of the time we overcomplicate our mix, and if we have a really good drum kit, a really good folder of sounds ready to go, then it's super easy to get the mix popping. And remember, as beat makers, we are only the first link in the chain. So we will make a beat, it will then get sent to the artist, it will then get mixed again, and then that beat will then get mixed again with the mastering engineer. So as long as we have an alright sounding mix and a good sound selection, then we are ready to go. Key 5 is branding, marketing, and business. Now these all coincide with each other. They are all intertwined into one. And in a world of short attention spans and social media, it is so important to have good branding, marketing, and business strategies. So the way that I market myself as a producer is I'm consistent on social media. You know, I'm always engaging with the people that follow me. I'm always uploading photos of my face as well. Now this is actually really hard. I always struggled with this. Be easy on yourself. Start with just like some mysterious shots or something where you can't see your face, but people want something that they can see, that they can relate to. When I started posting more pictures of myself, getting myself out there, it really helped my engagement and my following and people to actually use my beats more. This was no easy process though. Obviously I was very shy and I was quite unconfident in the beginning of my career. So really be easy on yourself guys, but just work on finding a good brand, finding a good way that you can market yourself. Now that may not be showing your face, that may be doing the whole mysterious aspect. That's also a really cool way of doing it. Be unique and be true to yourself as well. Don't be someone you're not on social media. Really try bring out your personality, intertwine that into your brand and show people who you are as a producer. So now in terms of business, I'm really fortunate that I have a manager now. Shout out my wife who's actually my manager as well. She's really good at answering emails, structuring them, and talking business like. For me as a creative, that's not my strong point. If you're starting out and you don't have a manager and that's not your strong point, there are a couple of things that can help you along the way. A few tips that I want to tell you right now that will set you up for a good business strategy, a way that you'll be able to talk to these labels, these managers, these A&Rs the right way. So number 1 would be not selling yourself short. This is a mistake that I made at the very beginning. I was ripping myself off. I was selling myself short because I wasn't confident in my work. I was talking to these major labels, big artists in my opinion, and I was scared to, you know, ruin my connection. You do need to value your work. You need to be fair in your approach to the labels too, but you do need to back yourself. And that is something I found very difficult at the start. So yes, number 1 would be back yourself in your business, in your emails. Back yourself, come off confident, come off professional, and this will really help. Structure your emails in a way that sounds professional but human-like too, you know, because they want to be talking to a human, especially when you're negotiating fees and prices. You don't want to come off as, you know, a robot or something like that. So marketing myself is also very important. I market myself in the way that I consistently send out beats, I consistently send out loops. I try not miss the routine of sending out the loop packs, the beat packs, the emails to artists, the emails to A&Rs. I market myself in a way that I'm consistent with it. I'm hopefully always on my fan base's mind, or whoever I'm trying to market myself towards. Be consistent with your branding, be consistent with your business and your marketing. This will come in key. You want to always be appearing on people's timelines and people's emails. Work that fine line of spamming, but also being present, not coming in and out of your fan base, your artists, whoever you're working with lives. You want to be consistently talking, networking, and marketing and branding yourself to them. Alright guys, I hope you found these 5 keys helpful and that you are ready to start implementing them for yourselves as well. And if you want to dive much deeper into each of these 5 keys and discover my entire start to finish process for producing beats that get placements and to becoming a successful beatmaker, I cover it all in my new course, Unison Beatmaking Secrets. It condenses everything I learned the hard way since I started producing 10 years ago into 8 hours of no fluff, easy to implement videos designed to get you results fast, without all the frustration, confusion, and overwhelming things that I had to go through. You can click the button below to get the full details, and I hope to see you inside.